I have to plan and look for what I need from football for the next year or two. And I need a new challenge, and I think I'll certainly find it here. And I think it's a challenge that, given that little bit of luck which everyone needs, it's a challenge that we could turn into an unbelievable success.
The final whistle of the 1983-84 season, and Newcastle United are indeed going up. The club that's come to life again is back in the First Division after 6 years in the wilderness. The players and supporters salute each other at tea time on Saturday after a season that brought goals and glory. The average home gate's been just under 30,000, the third highest in the country. And in 42 league games, Newcastle, inspired by the great Kevin Keegan, have scored no less than 85 goals.
I'm directly opposed to any club who wins anything if it isn't won in the opponent's half of the field. And that is why all the season we have worked and worked and worked at creating opportunities to score goals. Our whole training has been based on that.
When Newcastle last appeared in the First Division 6 years ago, they were already doomed to Second Division football. They finished with just 6 wins and only 22 points. But the team that lost to also relegated Leicester City by 3-0 at Filbert Street in the spring of 1978 included goalkeeper Kevin Carr, then a 19-year-old recently given his big chance by former manager Bill McGarry. Carr was the sole survivor of that team 6 years ago, who played in this season's opening match at Elland Road, a day that brought a 1-0 win for Newcastle thanks to a John Anderson goal, but a broken arm for Carr. He was to miss half the season. By the time Newcastle went to Middlesbrough in early September, they had 6 points from 3 games.
The Grew pumping this one forward. David Curry, the man on the chase. Good turn by Curry. And a good shot. That's a marvellous goal from David Curry. It's 1-0 to the Borough. Corner taken short. Waddle, 2 men to beat, but he's got the cross in. And Keegan, and Otto's on the line, but he can only help it in. And Kevin Keegan has scored the equaliser. Otto looking to set the Borough away. Roberts is the man out wide, providing the cross. Anderson is there, so too is Curry, and it's gone in. David Curry's got his second, and now it's 2-1 to Middlesbrough. Mills, Wharton, good ball back for Mills, who slipped his man. And the keeper's got a touch, but he can't keep it out. And David Mills has equalised for Newcastle against his old club. Now this is Roberts moving forward. So little time left for a winner. Hamilton. Oh, he scored! Gary Hamilton, the young substitute, has come on. And he's grabbed surely the winner for Middlesbrough.
That defeat was followed by a 1-1 draw at Grimsby, which left the Magpies 9th in the table, their lowest position all season, with just 7 points, hardly promotion form, and goal-scoring a problem. But the signing of Tyneside-born Peter Beardsley for £120,000 from the Vancouver Whitecaps was to change all that. He first came on at Barnsley as substitute for the unlucky Jeff Clark, whose knee injury in Yorkshire that night was to keep him out of the side for almost 4 months. United's trip to Wales in mid-October was to yield 6 points. Playing in their first ever Sunday game, Newcastle went ahead when Kenny Wharton headed in Terry McDermott's free kick, a fine goal which delighted Newcastle supporters who'd stayed the extra 24 hours. Swansea were to pull a goal back in the second half when defender Chris Marustic volleyed home a half clearance. But Newcastle weren't going to settle for a draw. David Mills's fine crossfield pass sent Terry McDermott away down the right. McDermott found Peter Beardsley in the penalty area, Beardsley returned the compliment, and Mills was to meet the cross, which gave United a 2-1 victory. 3 days later at Cardiff, Newcastle again went into a first-half lead. A bit of a scramble in the Cardiff area, and while Terry McDermott appealed for a penalty, Keegan dived to head home. The goal set up a rare away double for United, and in the second half, Peter Beardsley was to score the first of his 20 goals this season, as Newcastle United ran out 2-0 winners. was enough to keep the crowds rolling into St James's Park, even despite the seemingly annual premature exit from the League Cup, this time to 3rd Division Oxford. But on a sunny Saturday afternoon at the end of October, Beardsley, Keegan and Chris Waddle took promotion rivals Manchester City well and truly apart.
Andy May then on the ball, but he's let in Waddle here, surely. Great save by Williams, but Beardsley's picked it up. He's round one man, the keeper's struggling. Superbly tucked away by Peter Beardsley, 1-0. McDermott forward, Keegan with a touch, and it's Chris Waddle galloping into space. He's left Kinsey for dead. Now can he find the man to finish it off? Keegan's there, and Keegan has scored. He started it, he's finished it. And this is Beardsley chasing. He's got away from his marker. Slipped it through, Waddle, fine save, Beardsley. He never stopped running, Peter Beardsley, and he got his reward. Waddle now. It's a fine ball through for Beardsley. Could this be the hat-trick? What a superb 3 goals from Peter Beardsley. Every one a gem. Now McDermott to Keegan. A superb crossfield ball there. It's found Waddle. Now Waddle shoots. He scored. Waddle gets his name on the score sheet, and the rout of City is complete.
I wanted Peter Beardsley, and I wanted Peter Beardsley because I'd stalked him for a long time. I don't think there's a limit to really what he can achieve, because he's got that unknown quality that sometimes he doesn't even know what he's going to do, so defenders don't know what he's going to do. He's got the ability to score goals, he's got the ability to make goals. I think the sky's the limit for him.
Let's talk about Chris Waddle.
Yeah, he hates the sight of me, really, because I'm always after him and on his back, yet deep down inside he thinks the world of me. And vice versa, because he's got all those qualities that the public love. Waddle's no good to you if he's not got the ball. So what we try to do is to give him the ball all the while, and then he's got to play, hasn't he?
A week after the City win, former Tyneside hero Malcolm MacDonald brought his Fulham side to the North East. 3 more points, but United were to leave it late.
Fulham have certainly settled quickly here. And this is Wilson. Oh, and he scored, and that's a goal completely out of the blue from Robert Wilson, and it's certainly stunned the Gallagher end. Now Waddle trying to work the opening. Wharton's knocked back. Keegan, what a finish from Kevin Keegan. He absolutely buried that one. Hopkins, the man free here. Davis, he's missed it. Wilson, he hasn't, and that's Fulham back in front 2-1. Oh, beautifully brought down from Keegan, and a touch through for Mills, and Mills, the substitute, has got the equaliser. Only minutes left, 2-2. Mills now, well into injury time. Beardsley's still going, trying to get the ball in the middle, and Wharton's there, and Wharton has scored. It's 3-2 to Newcastle, well into injury time, and Newcastle surely have grabbed the points.
United were right where they wanted to be, second in the table with 29 points on the heels of pace-setters Sheffield Wednesday. But 1 week later, an injury early in the game at Chelsea cost Newcastle the services of midfield man David McCreary. United conceded 4 goals. In another 7 days, Cox's men were out of the top 3. This time, Sheffield Wednesday put 4 past United, and questions were being asked about the defence.
Because you get 2 adverse results, and bear in mind we'd beaten good teams here, 3s and 4s and 5s, before those 2 results, you try to brush up the things in your defence which had let you down, and we did that. We brought in Glenn Roeder just a little bit later after that. And the game, David, the game is about scoring goals and trying to concede as few as you possibly can. But in trying not to concede them, you must not ever discontinue your work with forward play, because if you do that, you will empty the grounds.
However, Keegan and his men picked up their 5th league win away from home at Brighton a week before Christmas. The defence kept a clean sheet, and Chris Waddle scored his 10th goal of the season to keep Newcastle in the promotion picture. Then came Cox's 2nd major signing. Glenn Roeder, the stylish Queen's Park Rangers defender come midfield player, listened to offers from several First Division clubs. Instead, he chose Newcastle. and began an extended run in the heart of the defence, making the fee of £120,000 look excellent value indeed. But points still weren't easy to come by. The 1-0 win over Barnsley at home gave Newcastle their only 3 points in January. The scorer was Waddle. But Tyneside was buzzing with the draw for the third round of the FA Cup. Keegan and company away to the mighty Liverpool. However, the pre-match talk was all about possible strikes in a dispute over cash payments for live Friday night TV coverage. It was all sorted out in time for Newcastle to be played off the park in a 4-0 defeat that raised question marks over United's First Division potential. Kevin Carr and Jeff Clark both returned for their long-term injuries for the match at Crystal Palace. The result, though, a 3-1 defeat. The following week, the newspapers were talking of Kevin Keegan's plans for the end of the season. Would he be going to Portsmouth? He certainly went there on the first Saturday in February and helped himself to 2 goals.
And Waddle breaking forward, and Newcastle have 3 against 1 here. The one is Sullivan. The chance for Keegan. The goal for Keegan. Keegan is away here. And Beardsley. Will he walk it in? He does. Peter Beardsley. Beardsley waving Keegan on. Now it's a race on with Tate. And Tate doing some holding, but Keegan's got the strength. And has Beardsley got the finish? 3-1. They contrived it between the two of them. Waddle with less Sullivan this time, and Newcastle are outnumbering Portsmouth in this attack. Waddle goes his own way, and Beardsley couldn't quite collect the rebound off the goalkeeper. And Keegan, goal given.
Significantly too, the Portsmouth match was the last unhappy appearance by fullback John Ryan, signed last summer from Oldham for a big fee. But Kenny Wharton, with his fiercely competitive approach, proved a more than adequate replacement, as did right-back John Anderson, who took his chance when Malcolm Brown, the other big close-season signing, was tragically injured in training. For Kevin Keegan, these 2 players were the real heroes of the promotion season.
Kenny Wharton, for his attitude. I think his attitude is tremendous, you know. I mean, I'd love to see him go on and make a very good living out of football, because he deserves to. And John Anderson for different reasons. I mean, John Anderson was a free transfer from Preston, and he come up a grade and not only established himself with Newcastle, but won over people. And he has actually improved as a player beyond all recognition.
A week later, we saw an uncharacteristic side of Keegan. Grimsby were the visitors and had taken a first-half lead with this goal. Then, when the referee disallowed this effort by Wharton from a quickly taken free kick, Keegan's frustration boiled over. He later admitted he was lucky not to have been sent off. In the middle of the following week, speculation about the Newcastle captain's future was settled.
My brother, sister. And I made my mind up about 4 weeks ago. I mean, talked to my family, obviously my wife, really. And I decided that I don't think, honestly, I could justify another year at my age trying to do the things that I could do 5 or 6 years ago. Much as I'd love to, especially for this club.
From the day he walked in here, the only thing Kevin Keegan has ever done, by any statement he's ever made or any plans he's made, is to put pressure on himself. All that did was to stimulate everybody at the club, and of course to fire him off as well.
By the end of the week, almost 42,000 people, the biggest crowd to see United this season, turned up at Main Road for Keegan's final match in Manchester. It was to prove a great farewell.
Waddle in towards Keegan. That's the sort of ball he loves. What a good little glancing header to Beardsley, who's got control and scores with a beautiful left foot shot. Peter Beardsley makes it 1-0 to Newcastle, and Keegan was involved. Lane laying it off, but straight to McDermott, and he's got Keegan in. 2-0. What a start for the little man.
City pulled one back, but it wasn't enough. For the match at Fulham, Martin Thomas was recalled for the injured Kevin Carr. And yet again, Keegan and Beardsley were the men on target.
Here's Waddle. McDermott. Waddle again with Anderson going outside him. And the overhead kick is in from Beardsley. For Peter Beardsley, it's his 11th of the season. 1-1. Peter Scott, right from the kickoff. Gale in for Davis. Marvellous goal. This is what? For McDermott. Keegan's gone to the near post. Keegan!
1 week later, and the house full signs were up at St James's Park. Nearly 37,000 to see the match against promotion favourites Chelsea. But the Londoners spoiled the fun when David Speedy shot John Neal's side ahead. But Terry McDermott combined with Keegan to salvage a valuable point. It was a match which again cost the services of central defender Jeff Clark, who suffered a broken nose. By March the 17th, with John Truick successfully re-established in the side, Newcastle sought revenge over Teesside rivals Middlesbrough for that 3-2 defeat 6 months earlier, but they had to come back from an early shock.
Now for Bell. His pace could be a telling factor this afternoon. Clifford Sugrus. And he's away from Roeder and Anderson. Goalkeeper Kate Freud, and a goal from Bell. What a start from Middlesbrough. Roeder. Beardsley. Beardsley again. Brilliant goal. Oh, that's a marvellous goal by Beardsley. And it goes Walk. Dermot. And then for Waddle. With Tyne to set himself up for the shot. Dermot. Brilliant piece of thinking by Terry McDermott. Beardsley, Keegan. Now Truick arriving. Waddle's in the middle. And Keegan! The finish of a master craftsman.
The Magpies were now flying high. A point at Shrewsbury, followed by wins over Leeds, Swansea and Charlton, left them in the top three, well clear of the chasers. By this time, David McCreary's true value to the side was becoming very apparent. Constantly chasing and harrying the opposition, he was the anchor man of United's midfield, allowing Truick and McDermott the freedom to go forward. And Terry Mack himself had rediscovered the enthusiasm and form he'd lacked during the first half of the season. The unbeaten March run meant that despite rumours over his future, Cox was named Manager of the Month and picked up his giant bottle of whiskey minutes before the top of the table battle with Sheffield Wednesday. But it was there the celebrations ended.
Mel Sterling assessing the possibilities at the throw. Mike Lyons looks to meet it. It might come for Megson. It might come here for Shelton. Gary Shelton.
A 1-0 defeat, and for now, the pressure was back on. The Easter weekend came with sunshine and fresh optimism. Truick had scored at Blackburn on Good Friday to pick up a point. And now, Carlisle arrived with still an outside chance of going up. But Keegan and former Carlisle pair Peter Beardsley were irrepressible.
Anderson on the ball. Forward for Beardsley. And Keegan scores and makes it look so simple. 1-0. Make it hit deep. Beardsley's made the run and picked it up. Keegan bursting through. Waddle. What a neat move. Finished off so crisply there by Chris Waddle. 2-0. So Alan Shoulder with this penalty. And Carr saved it. And Poskett. And Carr saved it again. A marvellous double save back from Kevin Carr. Well, may the crowd applaud. But now it's Waddle breaking for Newcastle. McDermott, Keegan, this is a good move developing. And McDermott again. Beardsley. Keegan's there. And Keegan has scored. That's quite remarkable. Straight from the penalty save, Keegan's made it 3-0. Neil McDonald waiting for someone to make themselves available. Kenny Wharton who's making the overlap. Beardsley, still Beardsley, and Peter Beardsley makes it 4-0 to Newcastle with no problems. weight to the attack. Keegan's done with it. And Beardsley, what a positive finish from Peter Beardsley. It's 5-0 now to Newcastle.
Carlisle did pull a goal back, but with Manchester City losing at home on the same day, this 5-1 win was to prove a promotion clincher. The fans were back in good voice at St James's for the match against Derby County, following a surprising 1-0 defeat at Cambridge, who were already relegated to Division 3. John Truitt returned to the side, and this time there were to be no mistakes in the hunt for the 3 points that would secure promotion.
Kenny Wharton having to work it out wide again, perhaps. Now Waddle's taken it up. He's ghosted past defenders there. And Keegan scored. He's got a knock in the process, but that's a priceless first goal for Newcastle. Loda. McCreary, now Beardsley. Neat 1-2 with Keegan. Beardsley still going, great close control. And a really excellent finish there from Peter Beardsley. 2-0 now to Newcastle, they're on their way. Roda cuts it out. McDermott hooking that one forward. Beardsley. And here's Waddle now. And that's another quality piece of finishing. This time it's from Chris Waddle. It's 3-0 now. Keegan. Inch perfect out to John Truitt. He's got plenty of time and space. Can he make the cross really count? Beardsley a little flick. McDermott. Beardsley. And that's 4-0 now to Newcastle.
The scenes that followed the destruction of poor Derby were what football on Tyneside is all about. Keegan and his men went on a lap of honour in front of happy supporters who at last had a team that had not only played entertaining football, but were good enough to take them back into the First Division. United still weren't mathematically certain of promotion, but nobody believed they wouldn't do it. In any case, a point 2 days later at Huddersfield was confirmation that the 6-year exile in the Second Division was finally over. Back in the dressing room, it was time for the champagne. Mind you, teetotal Arthur Cox isn't quite used to the taste. Young Neil MacDonald deserved his share. He'd played 10 full games after breaking into the side last season. And Newcastle's forgotten man, Malcolm Brown, who cost £100,000 from Huddersfield, joined in too. Let's hope he's fit for the First Division. While players and fans celebrated, Arthur Cox's future at the club was again in doubt. The board offered him a new 2-year contract, but the manager also wanted guarantees that enough cash would be available for him to strengthen the side. Even so, Chairman Stan Seymour was adamant Cox would be staying.
Without any doubt. Yes.
He is a good manager in your mind?
In my mind, yes. I've backed him all the way through and nobody can say I've ever turned against him.
I've said very little about the situation at this club because I don't think I'd help him by actually putting my weight behind him. I did it once before when I felt it was genuinely needed to be said. And I think I'm pleased to say I've been proved right on that point. But I don't want to say anything now that could be detrimental to Arthur Cox. Whatever he decides to do in the future, I wish him the very, very best of luck because he deserves it.
With Cox himself insisting that his future lies in the hands of the directors, Kevin Keegan led Newcastle out for the final chapter in the story of promotion, the club's last match in Division 2, and Keegan's final appearance in first-class football.
McDermott with the throw. John Anderson looking for Keegan. He's got a touch now. And Waddle has hit the post, and Kevin Keegan scores, and his career on Tyneside turns full circle. He scored on his debut, and now in his final game, he's provided the goal the fans were praying for. Jimmy Case. Young with the flick. Roda couldn't cut it out, and here's Ryan. and Jerry Ryan has equalised. It's 1-1. Keegan. Truick. Jones the defender. Dermot out to Keegan again. He's got the cross in, and Waddle has scored. But Waddle's quick to congratulate the architect, Kevin Keegan. Beardsley's still got this one, though. Keegan through again for Beardsley. Oh, he did well there. Oh, that's brilliant from Peter Beardsley. What a way to end a season. And even Keegan congratulates the man who may well turn out to be his successor as the fans' #1.
No one will feel a greater sense of loss at Keegan's retirement than Arthur Cox. Keegan was a great personal friend. He also achieved exactly what the manager expected of him.
On a number of occasions I said, I expect Kevin Keegan to do for Newcastle United what Dave Mackay did for Derby, which is to lead them into First Division. Now he's done that. Now we have to build on that. We have to make sure that everything that he's done and that we've done together and everything isn't wasted. We have to make sure of that.
Keegan said recently he'd welcome the chance to team up with Arthur Cox again. Newcastle, meanwhile, must look to the future. So what is the way ahead?
Fans have waited a long time for what's about to happen. They've paid the money. They've come where other people have gone away from the game, and they put a lot of money back into the club. And I've read things in the papers, I don't know how true they are, that the club are going to wipe some of the overdraft off. I think, personally, now is the time to go into debt again to make this club, because they've got a great chance. With 3 good signings, this club could not only go in the First Division and hold its own, it could go, and they would probably challenge everyone bar Liverpool and Man United.
But Keegan is king, gonna do his thing, gonna take us up, gonna make us sing. I'm a Geordie.
It's about standards, really. I don't want my standards to drop. I always said that I would finish at the top. And thank goodness for everyone in this city, I have been able to finish at the top, because we're back in the First Division. And you can't get any higher than that in the world than the English First Division.